Hi, everybody. I just turned on the recording, and welcome again to our class today. So today we're going to be, as you know, I've moved the test till next week. I just think it gives you more time, and I needed to review some other stuff with you guys, so I thought I would do that. So today, sorry, I lose my voice. Today I'm going to be looking at marketing, but more from the consumer point of view and the research point of view. A start into research. So basically, we're going to look at segmentation and targeting, which is a really, really important part of marketing. And so just a second here, I'm going to go to those slides. One minute. Okay. So we're going to be doing positioning and targeting today, specifically in the area of personalization. So you all are different from one another, as you are probably aware of. I don't think this is the right. Just 1 minute, please. No, this is not the right presentation. Guys, hold on 1 second. I'll be right. I'm just going to put it on mute, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. I found it. Thank you very much for waiting. Here we go. Sorry about that. So let's not forget, guys, every week that we have to be doing, we have to be posting, okay? Posting on different channels out there, mostly LinkedIn and linked to your Twitter account, as I talked about. And you're getting 10% at the end of the term for this with the hashtag that you see there. Okay, so thinking about today, we're going to talk about strategic planning in a bigger context and how this all works, kind of understand the stakeholders, processes, resources related all to strategic planning in a business. And then we're going to review some examples of that and how it's done, as well as some kind of 4 strategic areas that I've developed in strategic planning that I'm going to kind of share with you. So strategic planning is a process for developing really a strategic fit between the organization's goals or capabilities and any changing kind of market opportunities or conditions out there. Strategic planning is a process that happens within any company. So even the Humber room, which you guys are aware of and quite familiar with, does the strategic planning process. The college does the strategic planning process. They've just completed actually a 5-year strategic plan. They launched it within the organization, and that all leveraged into a campaign that you probably see in the marketplace, which is We Are Humber, and the Unlimited campaign. So all that is kind of starts with a strategic plan. So to kind of help us understand a strategic plan better, I'm just going to play this video for you, and then we'll have a little talk about it. Can you see my screen, the video? Great, thank you.
Hi, my name is Erica Olson with M3 Planning. Today's topic is about what is strategic planning really? You know, strategic planning means different things to different people. And we have found that if we're not really clear about what we mean by strategic planning for an organization up front before we get started, we tend to have some problems getting people engaged in the middle of the process, or there's just roadblocks or people's resistance gets in the way. So here are the different types of things we mean when we talk about strategic planning, and there are different outcomes most of the time that leaders are seeking when they're engaging in a strategic planning process. These build, so let's talk about them sequentially, and then you can think as we're moving through what you're really looking for in your strategic planning process. So at the very base level, a strategic planning process is an articulated plan. People want an articulated plan for their organization. So what do I mean by that? That means we have a mission, we have a vision, we have goals, objectives, etc. An articulated plan. Sometimes we want to add on to that plan is actually strategic. And you may say, well, it's a strategic plan, but that's not necessarily true unless you bring in external data. If you don't bring in external market data, such as what your customers think, what your competitors are doing, what's happening in your environment, in your industry, you're not going to have a strategic plan. You're just going to have a plan. Now, sometimes we don't need a strategic plan. Sometimes we just need an articulated set of mission, vision, goals, objectives. But sometimes we really need to figure out what our strategic differentiation is in the marketplace. And in which case, to do so, you need to add into your process that market data collection, use it to make strategic decisions about what you're doing and not doing, such your plan actually articulates how you're different. Okay, so a plan that's strategic that also drives organizational engagement. How do we drive organizational engagement? We cascade goals. And cascaded goals mean that everybody in the organization knows what their piece of the strategy and the plan are. That drives organizational engagement. And you may say, well, of course I want everybody engaged. And Sometimes we want that in organizations, but we don't have the wherewithal to actually make that happen. And sometimes that's not necessary right now. So it's important to know if your strategic planning process is intended to drive organizational engagement or not. And if it is, you need to make sure that your plan goes all the way down to the individual level so everybody knows their piece of the future. So sometimes we add on to that the want to actually drive organizational transformation using a strategic planning process. And how do we do that? We have an articulated plan that's strategic, that's cascaded through the whole organization, that we talk about on a regular basis, and we make changes to as we move along the way, and we help shift behaviors, and we help drive choice. And we do that by visibly talking about it in specific meetings. I'm calling quarterly business reviews. You may call them something else. But the point is, we're using this information to drive decision making and drive behavior, and we're talking about it, and we're being visible about it. So as you're thinking about your strategic planning process, think about what's important to your organization right now and get everybody on the same page about what the real outcome of your process is intended to be.
Okay, so that's a really good introduction to strategic planning. And you know, strategic planning is an important component of anybody's marketing plan. As she talked about, what your first thing you really want to do is get a sense of what a company's mission is. And we're going to go through very shortly what a mission is. And then from there, develop a vision statement, some goals that go with that. And they develop the plan after that and strategy by market data, meaning that you actually research different types of market research to find out about their competitors, about products similar to theirs in the marketplace. And they do this in a way to really have an effect. And they want to figure out really specifically, as we talked about last week, where to position themselves in terms of differentiation. That leads from all that information in developing this plan and then getting engagement amongst the whole organization. So what usually happens in a company is that they get, this plan is developed, like the strategic plan for the Humber College, and then all the different departments and employees have in their performance reviews have KPIs, key performance indicators. Those are called KPIs, which are goals that leverage up to that strategic plan that was driven from market data as a whole. From there, when they get this kind of organizational engagement, they also want to involve the organization along the way as they're making this plan. They want to make sure they engage them at different touch points so they have buy-in from the company, opposed to just launching a new plan. Everybody goes, what is this all about? They all want to make sure that everyone's bought in and there's input from all the line staff and everybody that's working in the company. Then lastly, they want organizational transformation. This is key. They want the company to follow along and to, all sing and deliver brand consistency. So consistency of the brand in terms of whatever they're promising in their plan, in terms of brand promises and values and everything else, the organization has to be in a state where they can also truly be bought in and learn about this process. If they are changing how they're doing business or they're introducing new systems to deliver on their plan, obviously they're going to have to do training programs involved. Obviously this plan has to be consistent with the marketing plan. Obviously there has to be budgets that are put together that support all the elements. So the whole transformation happens in a sort of what we call a strategic planning process. So as I mentioned, it starts off with, any hospitality organization typically has a mission, and that mission is a statement of, or overall purpose of the organization, basically what it wants to accomplish in a larger environment. So management should actually avoid making a mission statement too narrow or too broad. The mission statement should actually be based on a company's distinct competitiveness. So what different about them in the marketplace? A clear mission statement kind of acts like an invisible hand that guides people along in that organization. And studies have shown actually that firms with well-crafted mission statements have better organizational as well as financial performance. So there is a really famous author out there named Peter Drucker. He put together some very good information on developing strategy and strategic plans. He likes to say that you really first got to find out what business are we in. What is our business? You got to really define that and know what it is. You have to define in this plan who their customers are and what do their customers value. Then lastly, what should your business be? That's also an important part of this plan. So Drucker kind of puts this together in terms of context, and the mission statement should kind of define who the business, who the customers are, its value, and what business they should be in as a whole. So once you kind of come up with a mission statement, you're going to then develop overarching goals, main purpose goals for the company, and more specific goals related to business revenue targets, profit targets, traffic, or those kind of targets, as well as marketing goals related to communications, like the brand awareness, sales targets, other things like that. So that leads to growth strategies. And organizations spend a lot of time following this model. This model is a model that I use with my clients. Basically, companies can grow based on 4 key areas. The first area is they spend money and spend a lot of time on kind of new spend and loyalty to try and gain and make sure that the customers maintain that ongoing kind of situation. So here's a question. Can anybody else not hear me right now? You guys hear me? Yeah, so I think maybe it's your system, Gagan Preet. I'm sorry, you may have to go out, come back in again. I'm not sure. So thinking about this, what we want to do is we want to have, a focus of the organization of kind of a number of these 4 areas, or just 2 of these 4 areas, or sometimes it's all 4 areas. First area is loyalty. You want to kind of maintain that ongoing customer base. It actually costs more money to attract new customers than it is to keep your current customers. You got to remember this term, the 80-20 rule. You'll be asked about it on your upcoming test. The 80-20 rule is 80% of your profit comes from 20% of your customer base. Those are customers that come for the long term. Okay, so a lot of companies spend a lot of their efforts on that 20%, keeping those loyal customers. Companies are also trying to attract new customers, and that's really important to them as well. Companies like Apple, for example, apply the 3rd area, which is new product development. So some of you may have an Apple phone, but you may also have other Apple products. Who here on the phone have other Apple products besides just an Apple phone? Anybody have more than just an iPhone? Maybe a laptop that connects through iCloud? No? I'm surprised. AirPods, okay, yes. You have a laptop too? So the idea is Apple tries to link all their products together. You have a watch, okay, yeah, there you go. They try to create new innovations and new products to grow, okay? Babish has a MacBook, yeah. So what they do is they're focused a lot of the time on this whole idea of innovation and new products and services. So either you can spend money on maintaining your customer base, remembering that 80-20 rule, where 80% of your profit comes from 20% of your customer base, and focusing in on that 20% because it's the best way to spend your money. Or you may have a combination of that with developing, attracting new customers. A new business, for example, would attract new customers. That's all they're going to be spending their money on. A 3rd area could be new products. And the 4th area is new markets. Maybe you're a franchise operation or a hotel or a restaurant, and you want to grow. So you're going to mimic the concept you have in one market and put it into another market. And that's a very common way for organizations to grow as well. So growth is an important topic because marketers, CEOs, operation heads, VP operations are always focused on this board of directors, this idea of growth, wanting to grow the company. So that being said, any marketing process includes analyzing the market. This begins with an analysis of the company's situation, and typically a SWOT analysis is done. From there, there is planning done from the organization from that SWOT analysis. You implementate after that plan. The firm must have the kind of resources and people and employees necessary to carry out the strategies that come up front. And you want to have control. So these are different things put into place, checkpoints, to track the results and monitor any new developments in the environment that you're in. So those controls are critical. They allow you to know if you're being successful or not. So strategic planning is actually a process. It's a process to develop and maintain a strategic fit between the goals of the organization and its capabilities and its changing market opportunities. So a lot of times companies do in this SWOT analysis. Does anybody know what a SWOT analysis is? SWOT, SWOT. Say it out loud so I can hear you. What's a SWOT analysis? Turn on your mic. I can't see the comments. What are you saying here? Yeah, you got it right. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I want to go back to my slides here, guys. So that's right. You want to be able to think about a SWOT analysis at the strengths and weaknesses of the organization. And what's really important is these strengths and weaknesses are looking at internal factors within the company. These are factors that are any limitations or negative situations or factors that interfere with the company's performance. The next are opportunities and threats. And these are usually external environmental factors. The business manager or leads of the company know the parts of the environment to monitor if the business is achieve its goals. So they look at macro environmental forces such as demographic or economic conditions, technological, political, or social. Maybe they're going to look at their competitors, a little more focused around, and any distribution channels or supply that they need to have to operate this organization. So as I mentioned, internal environment analysis and external environmental analysis. So a lot of times what we want to do is we want to create new products based on existing products and new products into existing markets and new markets. So number one is kind of called market penetration. What this is about is you're looking at new market, you're trying to penetrate some existing markets and grow your market share. Number two is market development. You may introduce some new markets or products to introduce into the current product development strategy, and you're introducing them into the mix. The third area is product development into existing markets, and then diversification. And diversification is really we're going to look at developing products that are not necessarily in line with what your current products are, but they complement your current products. And that's really what Apple does a lot. They diversify their product offerings by offering new types of products that work together and complement one another. That's called diversification. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to go into a breakout session. So all of you are going to be put into groups of 4 to 6 actually. I want you to pick not necessarily a corporate brand, but maybe a really cool resort somewhere, a boutique hotel around the world. And I want you to conduct a market SWOT analysis on the overall operations and marketing efforts of that hotel. What are they doing in the marketplace? How do they present themselves? What kind of advertising are they doing? Is it effective compared to their competition? Are they, do they have a loyalty program? Is it a strong brand? What kind of unique products and services are they offering? So the full range of the 4 Ps, the marketing mix, I want you to look at, and I want you to do SWOT analysis. I'm giving you not 20 minutes, but a half an hour. When you come back, you've got basically 5 minutes. Each group will need to do a slide, one slide, okay, with strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats on that slide, and present the strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for that hotel. It's up to you what hotel you pick. I want you to pick some cool ones, maybe I don't know about, somewhere around the world. Could be a niche hotel like maybe it's the Gamboa Rainforest Resort in Panama, or it's some incredible hotel or resort in Africa, safari hotel. Pick something unique and different, do a SWOT analysis, and let's see what you guys come up with, okay? So I'm just going to put you into groups now, so just hold on a second and stop sharing my screen. You should probably take a snapshot of this right now on the screen. I'm going to get the breakout rooms ready. Groups. Okay, here we go, guys. There's actually 2 groups starting right now.